welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. On today's show, we say sorry to Manitoba, we lose our minds over 154 cheese pizza, and we get pregnant and choked out at Taco Bell. I promise it'll make sense later. All this and more on Other Items of Interest. Affidavit says, 2 Arkansas men don bullet-resistant vest, shoot each other. Tall tale about protecting an asset turned out to be a yarn involving 2 men who donned a bullet-resistant vest and shot each other, according to the probable cause affidavit. Charles Eugene Ferris, 50, and Christopher Hicks, 36, were arrested Monday, and there are mugshots with this article, so check the show notes. They look like a couple of guys who would test out a bulletproof vest in this manner. Christopher Eugene Ferris, 50, and Christopher Hicks, 36, were arrested Monday in connection with aggravated assault. They were released on citation from the Benton County Jail on Tuesday morning. Benton County Sheriff's Deputy Dorian Hendricks went to Mercy Hospital about 11 p.m. Sunday to investigate a man who had been shot multiple times while wearing a bullet-resistant vest. Hendricks interviewed Ferris, who had a red spot on his chest. Ferris told the deputy he had been shot 6 times, once in the chest and 5 times in the back, while protecting a man he called his asset. Oh, he was pretending he was like a bodyguard. Oh my goodness, it's just dawning on me now that his asset. Holy moly. He told the cop that he was like somebody's bodyguard and he was protecting his asset. I've read this about 3 or 4 times, this article, and I didn't know what he was talking about, his asset, but now, the guy's nuts. Making up a story like that. Ferris' wife Leslie told a much different story. Thank you, Leslie. She said her husband was on the deck of their house drinking with Hicks, their neighbor, when she heard a gunshot. That seems more plausible than protecting his asset. Check the mugshot. She went outside and saw her husband had a mark on his chest. He later complained about the injury and she told him go to the hospital. Ferris admitted he made up the story because he didn't want to get Hicks into trouble. Ferris said he and Hicks had been on the deck drinking. Ferris was wearing a bullet-resistant vest. Casually wearing his bullet-resistant vest while drinking like you do. If I had a bullet-resistant vest for whatever reason, I'd wear it around. It's comfy. I'm a warm and cozy bullet-resistant vest. He told Hicks to shoot him, and he did. Hicks shot Ferris in the chest 1 time with a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle. The bullet hit the top left corner of Ferris' chest. He said it hurt. Hicks then put on the vest. Ferris said he was angry about getting shot and he unloaded the clip with the remaining 5 rounds into Hicks' back. None of the rounds penetrated the vest. Ferris was released from the hospital and arrested promptly. Deputies went to Hicks' home and arrested him. Deputies seized the rifle and vest. Prosecutors haven't filed a formal charge against Ferris or Hicks as of yet. From the New York Daily News, daycare house license suspended after 4 one-year-old children escape, found walking near highway. That's not where they're supposed to be? 4 one-year-old children at the Color Wheel Learning Center in Ascension Parish found their way out of the facility's play yard on March 19th. They were spotted outside the fence by a passerby near Highway 44. The person stopped and returned the children to the facility where staff members were unable to explain how the children got out, according to a statement from the Louisiana Department of Education. We are thankful these young children are safe, but we cannot ignore the recurring negligence displayed by the center, State Superintendent John White said. The Louisiana Department of Education revoked the license on Friday, saying the incident was just the latest instance of negligence. In October, another 1-year-old opened the gate to the play yard and wandered to the facility's parking lot, authorities say. A staff member who happened to be outside spotted the child and took them back inside. The Department of Education conducted an inspection following the incident and cited the daycare for lack of supervision. The Color Wheel Learning Center now has 15 days to appeal the department's decision to revoke its license. Daycare providers who have their license revoked are ineligible to reapply for 2 years. You gotta keep all those kids together. I think that's an obvious statement, but a factual one. This other item of interest is a little different than the usual fare. This one comes from the weathernetwork.com, not to be confused with the Weather Channel. The Weather Network is located in Canada, and they have something to say to Manitoba. Sorry, Manitoba. We really do love you. The Weather Network loves Canada, all of it, but it's come to our attention that we've been neglecting a central part of our country. Numerous Weather Network viewers have contacted us over the years wondering why our on-air personalities are always standing in front of Manitoba during national weather forecasts. We've seen the error of our ways and we apologize. We never intended to block Manitoba. So what's the problem? It all boils down to location. When our on-air presenters are in front of the green screen and explaining the weather on a national scale, Manitoba is situated in the center, which is where they tend to stand. When they're in the front of our smaller active weather set in the newsroom, Manitoba is on the right, which is also where they usually stand. But in reality, Manitoba deserves all the airtime it can get. And there's a bunch of pictures of Manitoba that people had sent in, which are really nice. Check them out. They have a couple of reasons here. Reasons to love Manitoba. Manitoba has more than 100,000 lakes and waterways. So if you're into lakes and waterways, Manitoba's your place. Churchill, Manitoba is considered the polar bear capital of the world, and it's a great place to see the northern lights. That's two reasons in one. Forests make up about 48% of Manitoba's land area. That's good to know. Manitobans love Slurpee more than everyone. An estimated 1.5 million Slurpees have been sold in Winnipeg since the first 7-Eleven came to the province in 1970. That's more than anywhere else, and it makes Winnipeg the Slurpee capital of the world. And last but not least, Winnie the Pooh was named after Winnipeg. Can we get a judge's ruling on that one? No, I'm not saying you're a liar. Seems dubious at best. So there you have it. If you check out the website, you can see what they mean about the weather presenter standing in front of Manitoba is a very narrow province compared to the other provinces. Don't let that take anything away from Manitoba. It's just a little more narrow than the other ones. But it's so narrow that when the presenter stands on screen there, he or she is pretty much blocking the whole province. You can barely see the borders sometimes. Anyway, there you have it. From WSVN.com, Channel 7 News, Miami. Cadbury Heinz team up to create cream egg flavored mayonnaise. That's pretty much the whole story right there. I just wanted to say that and give it to you. For those of you looking for that unique mixture of savory and sweet, Cadbury has teamed up with Heinz to concoct a special condiment. The two companies recently announced the creation of Cadbury cream egg flavored mayonnaise. There's a picture on the website. It's on Heinz Mayo Twitter, at Heinz Mayo. Gross. I hate mayo with a passion. I really do. If you don't know how it's made with oil and eggs, and it's an emulsification. It's whipped up into that nastiness that you put in a jar. And there's other stuff in there like lemon probably and salt. And I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's gross. This is extra gross to me. Because those eggs, if you've never seen those Cadbury eggs, they're little chocolate eggs. And on the inside, the cream is this, it's not quite a liquid, it's not quite a solid, it's like a gel. It's the sugar gel of white and yellow. And that's okay to eat. I don't mind that so much. Until I actually eat one, then I regret it. Anyway, this whole thing is a bad idea. The article is over. I'm not reading the rest of this crap. I cut people. A megachurch pastor threatened as she preached. Her target, the local newspaper. From the Washington Post. Hope Carpenter was met with resounding applause before her monologue at Relentless Church in Greenville, South Carolina on Sunday. The crowd was excited about their guest pastor. After all, she'd led the congregation with her husband for nearly 3 decades before they moved their show to a church in San Jose last year. In her return, Carpenter delivered a fervent lecture on the importance of holding fast to confessions of faith, a message she claimed to have received from God that morning. She appeared fatigued by the end of her soliloquy, using its closing moments to express gratitude towards the church's new controversial leaders, Pastor John and Aventer Gray, who stood directly behind her. Carpenter said, "I love you, Pastor John and Pastor Aventer. I believe in you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you." Then her monologue took an abrupt, violent turn. "I cut people. I got a knife right in that pocketbook," Carpenter said, gesturing toward her seat. "Greenville News, come on. We done went through this. I'm still here, and guess who else is still going to be here?" She pointed to John Gray, who nodded in agreement. The crowd roared once again. The apparent threat toward the Greenville News, a daily newspaper, comes after the outlet published several stories casting a negative light on the Grays. In December, for example, the outlet reported on John Gray's purchase of a $200,000 Lamborghini as an anniversary present for his wife. In a tearful Facebook Live video, the pastor maintained he used not a nickel, not a penny of church funds to buy the car. In January, the paper published a story after a reader tip revealed Gray was living in a home worth $1.8 million funded by the Relentless Church. That's a bad name for the church, by the way, if I may interrupt. Relentless Church. There's nothing positive about that. Nothing Christ-like about that whatsoever. As we can see, we understand why, I guess. Let's get back. Officials at the church told Greenville News that the home was included in a compensation package for the pastor, adding, "This is a practice that is done with every denomination in the nation, not for $1.8 million. Then in late March, John Gray asked churchgoers to help bankroll a $250,000 repair to the church's roof. Gray told his congregation that the church was millions of dollars in debt, Greenville News reported, and suggested the money could be raised easily if 2,500 people gave $100 each. He offered to pay $300 himself, very giving man, but repeatedly gave those in attendance a deadline of April 3rd to raise the rest of the money. Wait, there's more. Earlier that month, the pastor and his wife appeared on a daytime talk show to deny rumors of an extramarital affair. While on air, Gray defended the Lamborghini purchase as well as his 2018 visit with President Trump to discuss prison reform. He was publicly criticized for meeting with the president and accused by some of being a pawn for Trump, according to Greenville News. So the article goes on. Hope Carpenter did not return requests for comment, but she's not very happy with the Greenville News. But I like that in the middle of a sermon. I cut people. Real nice. Here's a short, sweet one from the AP. Thieves return statue, leave flowers and a card. Aww. Warms your heart, don't it? 2 thieves who snatched a statue of a lion from outside a home in Philadelphia suburb had a change of heart after police posted surveillance video of the heist. Everyone has a change of heart when video surveillance is posted. You know you're close to getting caught. Have a change of heart. That sounds like it'd be a cheesy lyric to something. The statue was taken from the Westchester residence on Wednesday, but by Friday, police posted a video of the thieves returning it. They also left behind a bouquet of flowers and a card. Police say it was a smart move to return the property, and the owner is grateful. The end. Isn't it so nice to have a story where somebody isn't being shot by mistake, or somebody's really drunk and doing something crazy, or a Florida man, or I cut people? It started off bad. They stole property that didn't belong to them, a lion statue. But they returned it. Very nice. Let's move on to something less nice. From BBC News, Peppa Pig film. Peppa Pig film. Horror trailers shown to kids at cinema. Yikes. Trailers for horror films were played before a screening of the children's film Peppa Pig, Festival of Fun. Families at the Empire Cinema in Ipswich said their children were left in tears after seeing adverts for psychological horror Ma and scary superhero flick Brightburn. I don't even know what either of those movies. I'd like to think that I know what movies are. I don't know what either. Oh, I know what Ma is. That was an old, not old, but I've just completely derailed this article by muttering to myself into the mic. I'm just going to let it roll. There it goes. Parents removed their children from the auditorium until the trailer stopped. Empire Cinemas has apologized for any distress caused and said it is investigating. The trailer for Ma featured dead bodies, sexual violence, and a man being hit by a car, while Brightburn featured a child with a scary mask as well as blood and violence. Everyone was confused and crying, it looked like. The article goes into how the kids were traumatized, but I don't want to read that. You can check it out in the show notes if you want. A spokeswoman for Empire Cinema said as soon as the staff on site were made aware of the situation, the program was stopped and the trailers were taken off screen immediately. We do sincerely apologize for this and for any distress caused, and will be reviewing our internal procedures to ascertain how this came to be. I'm betting some schmuck employee thought it'd be funny to put a bunch of horror trailers on a kids' movie. Don't you hate it when your pregnant employee is dragging her ass and you just want to choke her? No, of course not. Portland Taco Bell manager sentenced to anger management for choking pregnant employee. That's what I was thinking of. This is from Fox 12 News, Oregon. The manager of a Portland Taco Bell has been sentenced to anger management and community service for choking a pregnant employee, according to the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. Linda Joyce Wilkerson, 48, pleaded guilty Friday to charges of fourth-degree assault and strangulation. Investigators said the case began June 3, 2018. Wilkerson was the victim's direct supervisor at a Taco Bell location near Portland International Airport. The victim told law enforcement Wilkerson had been rude to her because she needed to take frequent breaks due to her being pregnant by 4 months. The victim asked her manager about it and was told to meet in the back office. Investigators said Wilkerson screamed at the victim, slammed the door in her face twice, told the woman to clock out, and then grabbed her neck and throat with both hands. Wilkerson released her grip and stormed out of the office. Surveillance video captured the assault. The victim spoke in court Friday and said, "To me it is a big deal. I was pregnant with my now healthy son. That was my job. I was supposed to feel safe there. I wasn't sure if she was going to let go of my throat. It was a big deal. I do believe she deserves this sentence." Wilkerson was sentenced to 3 years formal probation, 100 hours of community service, in order to take anger management classes, have no contact with the victim, and pay $250 in restitution. Don't choke a pregnant lady. Don't choke anybody. How about that? It's a good rule to live by. Keep your hands in your pockets. Don't choke nobody. Fair enough. This next one comes from WIVB.com. Naked murder suspect captured waving gun inside South Nashville Waffle House. A woman wanted for a 2017 murder was arrested Saturday morning while naked and waving a gun inside of a busy South Nashville restaurant, Metro Police say. Montessa Tate Thornton, 19, was taken into custody at the Waffle House on Harding Place near I-24 on charges including public indecency and public intoxication. Police said they responded to a report of a naked man and a woman with a weapon inside of the business. When officers arrived, they said they observed Tate Thornton wearing no clothing inside the Waffle House, which was open for business, and waving a gun around while acting erratically. Tate Thornton was screaming, sweating excessively, and making incoherent statements, an arrest report states. Police said the 19-year-old admitted she had used marijuana and cocaine. The other naked suspect allegedly involved in the same incident was identified as Lorico Nixon, 34, and he was charged with public indecency, public intoxication, and being a felon in possession of a weapon, authorities said. Police stated Nixon was observed running with a gun, also wearing no clothing, and chasing Tate Thornton while admittedly under the influence of marijuana, cocaine, and crack. Once Tate Thornton was in custody, investigators say they discovered she was wanted on charge of first-degree murder in the December 10th, 2017 shooting death of 23-year-old Maxime Assem. What a morning. All at the Waffle House. That's entertainment you can't pay for. From the AP, bad idea. Pouring gas on wet ball field, setting it on fire to dry it out. Authorities say it could cost over $50,000 to repair a Connecticut baseball diamond where somebody dumped gasoline and set it on fire to dry out the infield. Police are investigating the fire in Ridgefield in which 25 gallons of gasoline was poured on the field Saturday. 25 gallons of gasoline was used to try to dry out a field? You're nuts. First Selectman Rudy Marconi told Hearst, Connecticut media that 75 to 100 people watched as it happened, with some recording video on their cell phones. The town's high school baseball team had been planning to host Amity on the field that day. Workers from the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection responded. A hazardous waste removal crew began digging up the contaminated soil Sunday, and Marconi says the spill team will move it off-site this week. No one has been charged. From WXYZ.com, Detroit police officer shows up intoxicated to MSP breathalyzer training. MSP stands for Michigan State Police. Not the best decision, but what are you going to do? He was thirsty. A Detroit police officer is at the center of an internal investigation after he showed up under the influence of alcohol to training. Michigan State Police say it was discovered after the officer volunteered to be part of a demonstration on breathalyzer training. That guy got some balls on him. He shows up drunk to a training and then volunteers to be part of the training, which is going to find out that he's drunk. He's going to take the breathalyzer and it's going to be over. The incident comes a week after another officer who was still in her probationary period was arrested for allegedly selling drugs. What's going on up in Detroit? The officer at the training facility in Lansing blew a .08, said Chief Craig. The officer was not arrested because he was not armed at the time and did not drive to the training session, according to Michigan State Police. He's in the clear. The matter was turned over to Detroit Police. I'm sure the Detroit Police will get to the bottom of this and figure it out. From UPI.com, Australian chef's 154 cheese pizza breaks Guinness record. An Australian pizza chef broke a Guinness World Record by putting together a pie with 154 varieties of cheese on top. Johnny D. Francesco, chef at 400 Karate in Melbourne, formerly held the Guinness World Record for greatest variety of cheese on a pizza when he created a 99 cheese pizza. But he lost that record when someone else upped the cheese content to 111 varieties. He had no choice. The chef decided to recapture the record with a 154 cheese pizza. While the 154 cheese pizza, you say it so many times it just feels so unnatural. While the 154 cheese pizza, while the 54, or the 50, or the cheese, the pizza, 100. While the 154 cheese pizza may not have been a culinary impossibility, it was certainly a culinary challenge. We knew it was an ambitious idea, but probably more so than first anticipated, Francesco said. They let you know that these following cheeses were part of the pizza. Gorgonzola, Pecorino, Taleggio, I don't know if I'm saying these right, aged cheddar, I think I got that one right, Gouda, and of course many more. They give you five cheeses. They let you know a couple of cheeses. There's 154 cheese pizza. 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 And that's the end. I had a grand old time. I hope you did too. At least got a chuckle out of something. That's everything. Thanks for listening. You can visit us online at otheritemsofinterest.com or on Twitter at other items. Just those two words, other items. Yeah, cool beans. See you next week.